Men are choosing to step away from relationships, employment, and education, and this trend cannot be denied. I would want to talk about why this is occurring and how it is harming men, women, and society as a whole. Men are stopping themselves from dating, committing to relationships, and getting married. And not only is this occurring in one city or one region, but also throughout the whole Western world. And guys are not lonely because of this, contrary to popular belief. Men prefer to be alone than be in partnerships when they have nothing to gain, according to this statement. Instead of working their entire lives for women who don't actually care about them, guys are now preferring to focus on themselves. And as a consequence, we can see a major decline in the idea of a traditional family, family values, and children in the Western world. Because men aren't afforded the same opportunity they formerly did, women are occupying those previously held by men. Men are only allowed to work in labor-intensive positions, whereas more and more women are selected for positions requiring decision-making. Even if it's excellent for women, the old family structure, in which males were the breadwinners, is becoming unbalanced as a result. In fact, since it costs more to engage women in these productive occupations than they produce, supporting them in them is harmful to society and civilization. Although it is clear that this scenario won't endure for long, let's concentrate on some of the details for the time being. Males held 75% of the occupations that were lost during the Great Recession, and the bulk of those employment were in the manufacturing and industrial sectors. Another strange notion is that office occupations are more significant than industrial ones that require a lot of effort. That isn't exactly true, though, as the manufacturing class also creates and generates things and products for the general public, in addition to the real productive job it performs. They serve as the population's true pillars of support for the families that comprise it. Additionally, the lone worker is far better suited for office jobs. The problem is this: men have difficulty keeping their official employment. I'm sorry, but no matter how talented you are, unless you're willing to act like a total beta, you won't be able to maintain your office job. If you don't think it will get to that degree, just observe the elder guys in that culture to see how much worse it is getting. You'll have to violate your own masculine ego in order to do it. I say this because it just isn't manly for guys to sit in cubicles and take instructions from their supervisors. Working conditions for women are excellent. To demonstrate how powerful women are in the workplace, a woman only needs to voice a modest concern about the behavior or emotional impact of another male. That demonstrates how deeply our culture and society attend to the needs, wants, and emotions of women. Men are thus choosing not to work. You now know that some of them will, on the positive side, turn it around, establish industries for themselves, and launch their own enterprises. However, the majority won't. The same thing is happening in the educational system. Men are being forced out. Boys are being expelled from early childhood programs. More and more boys are being conditioned and stigmatized for nothing more than being male. They are grading people according to how well they submit, comply, and conform. These are not characteristics of men, traditionally and naturally. It appears as though the strongest and healthiest guys are being punished for precisely that sort of conduct. You're sabotaging your best efforts and setting a poor example for others from a young age. Boys are being trained to have female traits, and the guys all around cave in because they also want to win the approval of women. It appears as though society as a whole is being kept captive, and everyone must proceed with caution. Your school system is taken over by women, who also vilify guys, and stop teaching hard subjects. As a result, if any of you out there are interested in getting married and starting a family, congratulations. You now have a son who excels at being still and performing tasks that have been allocated to him like a robot. Let's examine the judicial system. If you don't pay alimony, you risk going to jail, which is likely the only place in the world where males are sentenced to prison for failing to provide for a woman for the rest of her life. As an example, if you get into a serious relationship and have a child, after that, you split up. You're now going to have to help pay for that child's upbringing, aren't you? Of course you are. The point here is that in the eyes of the law, you're still being treated as the main provider, while women are being given more opportunities at work. So how can a guy make enough money in labor-intensive jobs and still provide for women who now occupy decision-making roles that make it possible for them to earn more than men? Isn't this unfair? Let's assume they conclude she needs to receive over $2,000 per month to care for the child and herself. In the meanwhile, you have financial difficulty and are unable to provide that amount. For a while, all you can afford to offer her is $1,000 each month. As a result, you're getting thrown in prison. How is that fair for a man? The woman might divorce him, take his children, his home, and everything else he has and has worked really hard to get. She damages his reputation, forcing him to pay for her care for the rest of his life or face jail time. Love really is blind, isn't it? No man wants to love this much. No man wants a woman this much. Overall, men submit to women because of their biology, while women are willing to use their bodies to persuade men. We can view that across our whole history. Our society as a whole is focused on providing for these entitled princesses rather than on being productive, efficient, or building a future. Instead, it is concerned with appeasing the whims and desires of a privileged class that hates those who provide for them. It is a trick used on honest individuals to claim that they are not good, honorable persons, and then receive a reaction like that. That describes the status of the news industry today. What is happening is exploitation of male nature. He naturally wants to protect the women. He wants to be of service, he wants to be loyal, and he wants to do what's right, so you condition him to believe that what he's doing, he has to do for her because that's her birthright. Every time he disobeys your orders or ceases to be your servant, you can simply accuse him of disregarding that particular aspect of what it means to be a man, and he will comply. Once the man agrees to the entitled princess's manipulation, she will make him do things like hold open the door, take a B grade instead of an A grade, and buy insurance even if he is completely healthy and has never seen a doctor. He must go bankrupt because he must pay taxes for individuals who aren't even citizens of his nation. He has to incur a financial loss. He takes food from his table that he has worked hard for so that he may give it to someone playing the victim, and wants many children who will learn the same thing from society. It is undeniable that Western civilization represses men at its foundation. Guys are progressively waking up to the fact that every system that governs everything, including the legal system, the economy, and insurance, has been intentionally designed and rigged against them, and they're not having it. They are conscious of the dangers of losing everything they have fought so hard to acquire for themselves and experiencing relationship failure. In the Western world, men are beginning to think and believe more and more that they are happier by themselves. They do not desire dating-related turmoil. They don't want to go home to complaining, unappreciative wives who take advantage of everything the men do for them. They don't want unhappy marriages, and they also don't want to damage their kids' lives. They don't want circumstances in which they are falsely accused of anything and nonetheless wind up in jail. It's true that men are now recognizing that there is much more to life than women, and that most of the time, it is far better without them. Guys, here is the scenario. The world has evolved. Dating and relationship norms have evolved. In Western countries, the ideas and forces that determine gender roles have altered. The way that men and women view and interact with one another has changed. Women now have more power than ever, but they also have more rights than ever. They mistakenly assume that achieving financial independence will make them happy, only to discover too late that it does not, because they are aware that they live in a culture that does not give them the benefit of the doubt. Males are now avoiding partnerships with women. In other words, males have come to the conclusion that investing time, effort, and resources into a committed relationship with a woman is not worthwhile. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.